Okay, I want to thank all of you veterans for coming tonight. I mean, it's very special to my heart that you actually showed up and came. This is the 50th anniversary, and we want to commemorate the Vietnam War. This is so dear to my heart, I might not get through what I wrote. After talking to a lot of you here in the club room and around the Legion and not in the club room and wherever I went, I found out that when you guys came home, even though St. Genevieve is a very small, tight-knit place, you Vietnam era veterans did not get a welcome home. And I'm really sad for that because I'm a transplant. And I'm really sad that you guys were treated the way you were. The mindset back in the 60s was more political than the people showing their gratitude for your sacrifice and service for your country. I was just in Nashville and I pulled out my retired ID card because everywhere I go I slap that baby out and I get my military discount. I gave 26 years, so I think I deserve 10%. AARP get more than I do, but that's okay. But anyhow, it was a 20-year-old girl that said, oh, thank you for your service. And see, back when you guys were in, that didn't happen. And I'm really sorry for that. Because I wasn't in NOM. I was in 26 years, but I wasn't in conflict. So I'm really sorry that that happened. I think that America today has realized that they messed up, that they shouldn't have treated you that way. Because just like in the military, it's not your fault where you went. You go where you're told. And that's why I was really surprised the way America treated you guys. So as commander of this American Legion Post 150, I wanted to thank you for your service and sacrifice to our country, because I'm in the American Legion Honor Guard, which my Honor Guard team is back here. We bury veterans every day. And I wanted to thank you in person ahead of time because I didn't want to be thanking you over your casket and doing last rites for you. You gave your country your life and your sacrifice, and they didn't appreciate it. We can't go back and change things what happened then. We can only show that we care now and we're proud of you and what you did for our country. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, Americans, for your serving your country and what you did, for those Americans that did not thank you and the way they treated you. Would you please rise for the posting of the colors? Honor Guard, post the colors.
Honor guard, halt, right face, prepare to pose. Colors, present arm, order arm, left face, half step, forward march.
Would you remove your hats and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and for which it stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Cover. Please be seated. I would like the following individuals to come forward and just kind of stand up here between the flags. I would like Mike Audie, Virgil Boyer, Tom Douglas, Paul Brishley, and Mike Donzing. And just face the crowd. Turn around and face the crowd. I gotta wait on my honor guard guy. Tom, would you come in here? Tom Douglas? Tom, would you come up here and stand in line with these guys? Ladies and gentlemen, these are the Purple Heart recipients that are here with us tonight. Would you please? Standing ovation. Please be seated. The newspaper is going to take your pictures, so just hang on a minute. In case there's anybody in here that doesn't know what a Purple Heart is, you have to be wounded in action or killed in action to get this award. Thank you, gentlemen. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time. I would like to introduce my guest speaker for tonight, State Senator Kevin Engler. He is going to talk to you a few minutes. Would you please come to the podium?
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We're not over at Bosler's, even though he tried to give me a little name tag in case I wanted to do a little part-time work once he saw me in the suit tonight. It's good to be here. It's always an honor and a humbling experience to speak to veterans. Before I start, this past week was an interesting thing that happened. Same day, two major events. One, I thought, was interesting when the idiot jumps out of that capsule and dives for miles and miles and miles at hundreds of miles an hour and breaks the sound barrier and everything else and lives to tell about it. That was unbelievable. And the same day, I'm in Bloomsdale, and there are two Romney for President signs in people's yards. Two! Talking about strange occurrences. I didn't think it ever happened. My mom was from Bloomsdale, for those of you that don't know it, and she was, I took my wife on our third date at the Marion and Fabian Shilley's farm up there. We went on a hayride. I introduced her to St. Genevieve wine, homemade wine that day. You'll have to ask her about St. Genevieve wine. But we were up there, and it was always interesting because, see, before I start talking politics, I'm unopposed, so I'm not trying to get votes here tonight, but I thought it was interesting. I was a representative in Farmington, and I was thinking about running for Senate. So I said, Mom, all of our relatives are down in Bloomsdale. I said, I'm thinking about running for Senate, and part of that area is in it. Do you think any of them, we could get them to vote for me? Without hesitation, my mother said, well, no. They're all Democrats. There's no way. I said, well, you could pick up the phone, Mom, or something. But it turned out okay. It's been an honor to represent you all for 7 years. And some of you I've seen at Veterans Day programs all around the high schools. We were fortunate to get asked to do them all over, done them from Elsinore to Festus, and it's a privilege. But the kids don't realize the significance of civil service and the service to one's country that our veterans have performed. And when you talk to them mainly about World War II and what happened there, and we were talking about this earlier. I had a friend that left, got married, left his home 4 years. You know, the kids nowadays have never been around in a time when there wasn't cell phones and Skype and email and get a hold of it and you could fly home for years. And I know some of you had that experience. I talked to one night that didn't see their spouse for over a year, almost a year and a half. And for high school kids to think that if they were senior, the time they were freshmen to the time they were seniors, to not see someone you just married and you love is unbelievable. And you start talking about different ones' experience. And World War II was kind of a glory. You know, you got all the John Wayne movies and everybody, because it was us against the world. And we were in balance for a while, that it could have went the other way. If they would have gotten England and got regrouped and attacked us, it could have went the other way. We could all be speaking German. Of course, in this town, my grandpa used to say, Grandford Eisenbeiss, my Uncle Debert and Glennon, he says, you can always tell us Germans, but you just can't tell us much, you know. And, but it's been an interesting experience, besides giving talks to the kids at school, is deploying soldiers. And I used to say when I first got into office that, you know, kids, you go to grade school, what's the best thing about being, you know, and you tell them, and what's the worst thing? And I used to say, well, people that aren't nice, you know, but I don't say that anymore, because the worst thing about my job is deploying soldiers. And usually I'm the highest ranking state official, and so I'm the one that gives the send off and shakes the hands, and a lot of times takes the pictures of the young men getting ready to leave. And in a couple of the platoons, we've had losses, and it is something to get your picture sent to you with a young man or woman that have lost their lives while you deployed them, while you stood up there and told their spouses and their families how everything was going to be okay, and that they were going to be in your prayers, and everything will be fine, and we'll take care of it. And some of the troops have deployed for 3 times, and after the first and second time, you can't lie to them. You can't tell them everything's going to be fine. Oh, don't worry, because they've been there. They've been there when the kids have got problems, but they don't want to tell the dad, because they don't want to take the time that they've got to talk to him to talk about all the problems they have. We have a situation, when I was growing, I know I look older, but I was younger than you all. And when I was growing up, and I thought it was interesting, McGovern died yesterday. And he was talking, and he said that when he started protesting the Vietnam War, his son was 9. And then when his son turned 19 and was drafted, he was still, and he didn't have any idea when he was 9 that he would be protesting the war. And it made me think, because I had an older brother. And every night, we would pray. And my mom would lead us in prayers, and we would always pray for you all. Always. And she would pray that the war would end before we would go. And that was powerful. Because when I was younger, I didn't realize, but as we were getting closer, she became more strident in her prayers that the war would end. And you all won't, because she knew that we would go, because we would do it. That was just, my grandfather went to World War I, my uncles went to World War II, and we would have went there, but we didn't have to serve. And I know, though, the time, there was turbulence, and every night, you remember they gave the body count? And every day there was people protesting, and they were throwing things, and they were calling people names, and you were baby killers, and you'd go to the airport, not like today, when enlisted men come back proud of the uniform that they're wearing and walk through the terminal. I don't know about any of you that walked through the terminal, but I'd be willing to bet that you didn't have your dress outfits on. And some of you probably wearing hats to show that you didn't have the crew cuts. Because that would show, because back then everything was long hair, and if you had a crew cut, you were in the military. And you were one of those baby killers. It was disgusting. It was a disgusting, shameful time in our country where we didn't honor those that did their duty. Too long have we waited to welcome you home properly. You did your duty. You did what you were asked to do. And maybe it's fitting that we're here tonight on a playoff game, because so many of these people always talk about the heroes. Oh, Pujols is a hero. I bet you Pujols is having a great time this last couple of weeks, huh? And when I emphasize them at the school, they are not the heroes. The heroes are those that are called to serve and answer the call, that didn't leave for Canada, that didn't burn their draft card, that did their job and served honorably. We salute you tonight. We thank you, and we will continue to pray for you. You've done a great service for this country, and society should be ashamed how you were treated. And I can only apologize for this country and how they acted when you came home. Instead of saying, welcome home, they did this disgraceful thing that we don't want you. I'm here to tell you, we were wrong. My elders were wrong. You did your job, and for that, we will be eternally grateful. Thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to introduce State Representative Joe Fowler. Of course, that's a tough act to follow, Joe. Good luck, Joe. That was a tough act to follow.
I always have the misfortune of following Kevin. Next year it'll be reversed. That's all I'm going to say about that part. It's been a great pleasure in my 6 years as state representative. I know almost everybody in this room. I know when most of you went to Vietnam. I know when I didn't have to and took my physical and I was almost there. But at the end of the day, the way they treated people, I used to sit and I was talking earlier with somebody, and most of you know I grew up in Bloomsdale. Dad had the little 3-2 joint on the corner, and we used to watch the news every night. And see, as Kevin mentioned, you'd see the news and the body counts, and we knew the guys going from home. I know there's a bunch of them here from Bloomsdale tonight too that I grew up with, and at the end of the day, we always worried that that was going to be another one, that maybe this thing would end before we anymore had to go. But at the end of the day, everybody went, everybody did their duty, and we look at the Purple Hearts, and that's the reason we're here tonight. For those that passed, and for those that served, and I just don't know how we show our respect for that, other than hoping, and I've said this before, whether it's the current wars going on, the past wars, but I think the greatest memorial we could ever build for our veterans would be complete peace, so that we never have to send another person in harm's way. And to me, that's the memorial that we should be working toward for the veterans. And I believe that the people that served in Vietnam, as Kevin said, those were disgraceful years and should never be relived. And the veterans coming back now at least have that, but we still have problems with those veterans. With the depression, we have the highest suicide rate, the highest divorce rate among those people, and we need to be dealing with those issues and taking care of those people, and we need to do something besides You know, we've taken care of the veterans' homes for now. A lot of you guys came up and visited us, me and Kevin, this year. Those are the things we need to do. Veterans should never have to worry about where their health care is, and we shouldn't have 1,600 people on waiting lists to get into a veterans home. So I think that we need to take care of those people, honor our veterans, and make sure that nothing ever happens like happened to the Vietnam veterans, where they come back and have to be disgraced by the people that they're defending. And with that, I'll keep it short. So thank you, and I thank the veterans, all veterans from all wars, especially the Vietnam veterans when I grew up, that had to come back under those conditions, and especially the Purple Heart veterans that are here tonight for their service to our country. Thank you.
I would like to ask, and this might be cumbersome, but there's a reason for it. All of the Vietnam-era veterans, I need you to come up front and assemble. I want you to come up, one row on the stage, one row in front of the stage, and one row in the chair. Come on, all you Vietnam-eras. Okay, you guys got to squeeze together because we're going to take a picture to put in the newspaper. Get up on the stage anywhere. There's some seats down front if you want to. from Vietnam era. Yay! Okay. Hello. I lost my speaker. I don't have a...
I know, I have to turn it off. I'll turn it on. Hold on, down low.
Am I on? Am I on? Okay, what I want to do now is I would like State Senator Kevin England to come forward and State Representative Fowler. And what I want to do is I have a certificate from the President. Hello, can y'all hear me?
Hello.
Because there's so many of you that turned out tonight, this is totally awesome. So what I want to do is I'm going to have these guys present you with a certificate. And what I want to do is I want to start on this side of the room, and you guys line up and come up here and get your certificate, and then down the middle and down the side. Let me read the certificate to you. Commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War by the President of the United States of America. Hello? Thank you. A proclamation. Excuse me. As we observe the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, we reflect with solemn reverence upon the valor of our generation that served with honor. We pay tribute to the more than 3 million servicemen and women who left their families to serve bravely, a world away from everything they knew and everyone they loved. From La Dang, I'm not going to say these areas right, so don't get mad at me. From La Drang to I don't know these, Quichao, from Hue, Saigon, and other country villages in between, they hold dear as Americans. Through more than a decade of combat, over air, land, and sea, these proud Americans upheld the highest tradition of our armed forces. As a grateful nation, we honor more than 58,000 patriots, their names etched into black granite, who sacrificed all they had and all they would have ever known. We draw inspiration from the heroes who suffered unspeakably as prisoners of war, yet who returned home with their hands and heads held high. We pledge to keep faith with those who were wounded and still carry the scars of war, seen and unseen. With more than 1,600 of our service members still among the missing, we pledge as a nation to do everything in our power to bring these patriots home. In the reflection of the wall, we see the military family members and veterans who carry a pain that may never fade. May they find peace in knowing that their loved ones endured not only in the medals and memories, but in the hearts of all Americans who are forever grateful for their service, valor, and sacrifice. In recognition of a chapter in our nation's history that must never be forgotten, let us renew our sacred commitment to those who answered our country's call in Vietnam and who's awaited their safe return. Beginning on Memorial Day 2012, the federal government will partner with local government and private organizations and communities across America to participate in the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, a 13-year program to honor and give thanks to a generation of proud Americans who saved our country through one of the most challenging missions that they have ever faced. While no words will ever be fully worthy of their service, nor any honor truly befitted before sacrifice, let us remember that it is never too late to pay tribute to the men and women who answer the call of duty with courage and valor. Let us renew our commitment to the fullest possible accounting for those who have not returned. Throughout the commemoration, let us strive to live up to their example by showing our Vietnam veterans, their families, and all those who have served the fullest respect and support of a grateful nation. Now therefore, I, Barack Obama, President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim May 28, 2012 through December 11, 2025 as a commemoration of the 50-year anniversary of Vietnam War. I call upon federal, state, and local officials to honor our Vietnam veterans, our fallen and our wounded, those unaccounted for, our former prisoners of war, their families, and all those who serve with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 25th day of May in the year of 2012 in the independence of the United States of America, 2036. Barack Obama. So I requested these certificates from him, and I've got one for all of you. So I would like our two top dogs here to present these to you. So if you will come and line up down here and come across, Ray, where's my vice commander? We're going to do like a double line to speed things up, so we'll both be presenting them. Come forward, please. Hold those, and you hold those, and present and move around. Did every Vietnam era veteran get a certificate? No. Who didn't get one? Did everybody get one? Go give one to Cogwell.
Cartwheel?
Yeah, he didn't hit one.
Why in the hell didn't he get up?
Lazy. Vern, did you get one? Oh. Did everybody get a certificate? My honor guard? Did you come and get a certificate? Okay. Okay, now it is time to pay respect. Hello? Hello? We have, as much as I know what to do, have tried to pay you respect tonight and thank you, and I don't know what else to do. I wanted you guys to get together so that you could see, because some of you didn't know who served and who was where and all that. So I hope that you got to see some of your friends and your comrades and just have a good time together. But now I need to do another part, the series. I need to honor the 6 veterans from Vietnam that did not come home from Vietnam, that are in St. Genevieve County. So I'd like to do that now. Would you please rise? Remove your hats, caps, covers, whatever you want to call them. Ray Gettinger, my vice commander of the Legion, is going to ring the bell as I read the 6 names that didn't come home from Vietnam. I set a table over here in the corner, which is the POW-MIA, and to me, killed in action table. I normally do that ceremony a lot of Veteran Days and stuff, but I didn't do that tonight. But this table over here represents in the corner, and if you've never seen one, you can go over and look at it, and there's a placard that says what each thing on the table means. So this is for the guys that didn't come home, and all the other Americans from Vietnam that didn't come home. John J. Livingston, Gregory Meyer, Terry R. Monia, Warren P. Swigert, Frederick J. Hsu, Larry L. Tomier, and the final bell that I want to ring is for all of the Vietnam era veterans that did not make it home. Now I will have the honor guard. They're going to fire 3 shots in remembrance of our fallen. Cover and salute. Two. Honor guard, retrieve the covers. 2. Please be seated. Okay, that's the end of the formal stuff. Now we're going to do the fun stuff. I know you all have been waiting for this too. As you notice, even though I decorated the hall with red, white, and blue, I also decorated it with beer. We have blue and white boxes with red lights and red bows, and we have beer. And this beer was a gift to this Legion post. And I'm going to ask Congressman Representative Kathy Walsh to come forward, and she's going to tell you why we were awarded this free beer. Because tonight, everyone that's here, when you leave, will get a case of beer to take home. So, Kathy?
Thank you very much, Commander. I can honestly say I have never been any place and had the privilege of speaking about beer before. On behalf of Congressman Carnahan, I want to thank all of the Vietnam-era veterans for your service, and I see lots of friends here in the room who were friends of my late husband, who was also a Vietnam-era veteran, and I appreciate the camaraderie here tonight. But let's talk about the beer. The banner on the beer cases back there talks about Operation IED, and what this has to do with is every time veterans gather, someone or everyone says thank you for your service. The beer is a thank you for your service. And Congressman Carnahan was able to get this beer and 10 other tractor-trailer loads of beer. There's 1,400 cases in a tractor-trailer, and we placed 10 tractor-trailers in the 3rd Congressional District because he was one of the first members of Congress to sign a letter to the President demanding that there be an investigation, demanding that something be done about the use of IEDs against our troops, and those troops are being blown up with American-made anhydrous ammonia. Anybody here that's a farmer knows it's kind of tough. You got to get a license, and you have to say who you are, and they need to know where you're going to use it and how much you're going to buy. But somehow our enemies are buying our anhydrous ammonia, taking it out of our country, moving it over there, and blowing our troops up with it. It's a scandal. It's a tremendous scandal. I can say that of the 9 congressional representatives we have in the state of Missouri, only Congressman Carnahan signed the letter to the President. I don't know if the other people missed it, weren't in that day, or what happened. But the onus is on all of us to alert the other members of our congressional delegation to sign on to the letter. It's not too late to get the President to stop this hemorrhage of anhydrous ammonia to our enemies. If you were a Mexican drug cartel, you couldn't buy it. If you were a street gang in a Detroit slum, you couldn't buy it. But the enemies of this country are able to buy and export anhydrous ammonia, and that's one of the primary ingredients in the IEDs. Back in Vietnam, we called them booby traps, and it was different explosives. Everyone understands how dreadful the anhydrous ammonia can be used as an explosive. So please contact your other elected federal representatives, and after that, enjoy this beer. And this beer was a thank you to Congressman Carnahan for his support, and he's passing it on to veterans organizations and first responders in his congressional district. So everyone has lots of beer in the 3rd Congressional District, but we're the only ones that have it. No other congressional district has it at this time. I want to thank everybody who's here. Gail's going to make sure everybody gets a case of Guinness to take with them. It's wonderful, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's not a joke. When we first contacted Gail and said, would you like to have a tractor-trailer load of beer? She was like, yeah, sure. Okay, right. What's the punchline? And I know it seems ridiculous, and it's something that may never happen again, but it's for real, and the beer is here, and there's no catch or anything to it. It's just a thank you from a good American company. This beer says Dublin on it. It's made in the United States of America. If they said it was made in Michigan, they probably wouldn't sell as much. But they have a brewery in Michigan, and this is from there. So I hope everyone enjoys their Guinness. And again, on behalf of the Congressman, thank you for your service. And that's it. It's beer time.
Okay, a couple things about the beer. We were given 20 pallets of beer, a whole 18-wheeler full of beer. We gave to the VFW, we gave to the 8 fire departments in our area, we gave to the police departments, and we gave to the EMS drivers. So we've already given beer to all those guys. And boy, they were right here, Johnny, on the spot getting it when we called them and said, come get beer. This is a black lager. It's their newest beer. It's very, very good. It's not real heavy. But the thing about this beer is this is the only one. You can't take it to Country Mart and trade it in to get something that you might like. Because Janet is on the alert that you're not going to be walking in with black lager, because these are full cases of beer in the bottles. So you can't take a 6-pack and say, oh, I lost my receipt. I want some Bud Light, I want some Miller Light, I want some Best Light or Stag. This is what you get. So if you're not going to drink it and you're just going to toss it, I ask that you don't take it. But everyone in this room, including spouses, is welcome when you leave to take a case of beer with you. And I've got dollies back here because in a husband and wife, that's 2 cases. So my red shirters back there will help you out to the cars with them if you can't handle them on your own. But that's the deal with the beer. So I think we need to thank Kathy Walsh and Congressman Carnahan for this beer. And like I said, Janet is watching. Okay, now the other happy things I want to do is some door prize drawings. But before I do that, I want to thank the people that helped me put this together. Janet from Country Mart donated the desserts. So thank you, Janet. I want to thank my Honor Guard team from Festus Post 253 for coming down here. I want to thank John Wibbemeyer for playing the trumpet for us. He's one of our Legion members. Kathy Tate in the back, she actually made the Purple Hearts for the Purple Heart recipients and donated those. Rita and Jan in the back, they're the ones that signed you in. Now all these people, all they get is a case of beer for doing this. And I want to thank our cooks. Our cooks did such an awesome job. Where are you guys at? Jean, Carol, Ellen, Pete, where are you at? Okay, and Dennis, where's Dennis Woke? Dennis, stand up. Dennis Woke smoked all the chicken. Woo, Dennis. He also donated, well, he made and donated. We have a Vietnam bench up here. Ray, could you tell me what it says? Vietnam 2, I can't see it, it's backwards. It's made out of walnut, it's handmade by Dennis Wolk, and it's going to be a veterans drawing only, that's why I had the veterans sign in. And it's embossed, it says Vietnam 2/28/61 to, turn it, 5775. So this is going to be a Vietnam era drawing. Jan, could you bring me the tickets forward? Oh, Jan. And then also, I have, how many of these canes? Don Nager, he made these canes. Now I know y'all don't need them yet, but you will.
Gail, here's your other one.
Okay, the red ones we need to put in that thing over there. he made these canes and he donated them for door prize drawings for a Vietnam vet. I mean, you can let your wife use them or your girlfriend or your other girlfriend or whoever. And these are made out of, they're very, very nice. And one of them is made out of sycamore wood. One of them is eastern red cedar. And the other one is cherry maple. So they're very nice, strong canes. So we're going to start off with the Vietnam drawings. After Jan gets them all in the barrel. She's dropping them. I think she's got your number. You better tip her. Okay, when you came in to make things smoother, instead of writing your name and all that on the ticket, you just signed in on a sheet and it had a number assigned to it. So on the back of every ticket is a number. So we're going to draw a ticket and then we'll look at the list. Ray, you want to grab the list? We'll draw a ticket and the first drawing is for the bench. Turn it.
I did.
And pull one out and hand it to me. It's on Jan. Even though her and Z have won the last 2 days in the club room, let's see what she can do here. Okay, this is going to be ticket number 22. Vernon Fleeg. Vernon Fleeg has won the bench.
I need that.
You need that? Okay, now I want to do a cane. This one is going to be the Eastern Red Cedar. Oh, Lord. It's one of them names.
You can't read, huh?
It's number 39, and it is Woodrow Livergold. How do you say it? Oh, come on down. My honor guard, yeah, he needs a cane. You'd think I'd know those names. Yeah, 2 more. Yeah, I got 2 more. Number 33, Jim Lurk. And he is getting the cherry maple. The next number is 36, Cogwheel.
Need a longer one for him.
One more. Jan, I need one more. Jan. And then I have an American flag.
59.
Number 59. Who's 59?
Larry McDowell.
Larry McDowell. Okay, now the veteran cannot go off to war unless he's got somebody at home taking care of the kids and paying the bills and all that stuff. So I have 3 items to give the spouses and guests of the veteran. So the first thing we have, to give them the list. First thing I have is a water can fall arrangement.
Right here?
She gave me a handful.
Number 9.
Melody Werner. Number 9. Now I have these 2 beautiful mums.
Betty McDowell, Larry's wife.
Betty McDowell, Larry's wife. You're not going to believe this, another wife, Marcia Jokers.
Yes, we are. You ever asked him? He's running that thing. I don't know that.
What was I expecting to be? You done with me?
And I swear it's not rigged because Jan's doing the turning and the drawing and all that. Huh?
Are you done with me?
Yeah. Here's these. Okay, that's all I have. One more thing that I want to do. On the air, you do the.
Yeah, I think they will. Especially for everybody and all the veterans.
Okay, this is for the veterans because I want to know who's who.
Right. You get it ready for it. Actually, it starts with the national anthem. So if you all want to stand, we did it before, but we'll do it again.
real quick. Be seated real quick. Because I can't tell who's who if you're all standing.
At this time, I'd like to play a medley of the different military songs for all the military service that you have been in. And it was recorded live, so it's kind of a bit funny. But anyway, and we got the U.S. Army in it, and the Air Force, and the Navy, and Marines. And so if we could have everybody, if they would recognize the song for the Army, everybody stand up. That'd be nice fun. And then if you hear the Air Force, the Army would sit down, Air Force come on, and then the Navy will be there, and the U.S. Marines. So this was recorded way back.
Okay, come on.
It was recorded way back when, so I hope you can understand this, but I'm sure you'll be able to recognize it. And I'll announce when your military service comes up. And next time. That's enough. Okay. Here it is. Takes a little while. It was recorded live. Who's very instrumental in all of this, and with a lot of help from a lot of friends. And we appreciate your doing this for everybody for the post. Let's